Hey guys, Zen here, and today I wanted to go over 5 big updates for Rainbow Six Siege. Season 2 with Operation Phantom Sight is almost here, ladies and gentlemen, so without wasting any of your time, I'd like you to meet Colin McKinley, or better known to Team Rainbow as Warden. So Ubisoft supplies us with a blog about this operator and his backstory, so I thought we'd check it out. Preparation and improvisation are usually opposite concepts, but Warden somehow manages to encompass both. With a career of 30 years and counting, he has certainly gained the experience to handle all of it. Hailing from the state of Kentucky, McKinley rose through the ranks of the Marines before he found his calling for close protection detail in the Secret Service. He demonstrated his skills distinctly when he led the Secretary of State to safety during an attack where hostiles outmaneuvered all prior planning. The events of that day gave him the idea for his gadget's prototype, the Glance smart glasses. They reflect the nature of his natural talent to see what most cannot in order to gain the upper hand in any given situation. He would be just as talented without them, but with them, there's nothing he can't tackle. So this is the new Defender coming to Team Rainbow in the next season. From what's detailed here, his main gadget is the Glance smart glasses, and obviously they improve sight in situations where he may need an upper hand. He's a veteran of his career, kind of growing naturally throughout the ranks in the Marine Corps and then progressing over to Secret Service work. From my perspective, I get a real Kingsman vibe with this operator. Smart, probably a bit witty, but most of all, underneath that exceptional mustache, he's a professional and capable of doing some serious work on the battlefield. Now, Warden isn't the only new operator coming in Season 2. It's time to take a look at Nokk, the new attacker. Now, this is easily the most mysterious operator presented in this game yet. Ubisoft goes on to detail this operator by saying, Nokk has been a mystery for quite some time. There is very little that anyone outside Rainbow knows about her. For an accomplished undercover agent whose work remains mostly unrecorded, it is amazing that she has managed to hold on to who she is at her core. Focused and driven, she uses her special operations training to infiltrate, gather intel, and defeat her opponents. As a member of the Jaeger's Post, she strikes fear into the hearts of anyone who goes up against her. On top of that, she harnesses the spirit of loyalty and leads by example to elevate the people she works with. Unlike the general population, her fellow operators know who she is and welcome her into the fold. The potential scandal her family might face is of little importance to them. She's one of the best in her field, and they wouldn't betray her even if it came to that. Then they quickly move on to talk about her gadget. They go on to say her gadget is just the icing on the cake for an already dangerous operative. The HEL, which she worked on to improve with specialist Grace Dokubi Nam, makes Nokk nothing short of a ghost and leaves her opponents looking over their shoulders. Now, it's time to be honest with you guys. I can't say much about these two operators at this time, but I will say that from everything we've seen from the initial trailers as well as the backstory of these two, Operation Phantom Sight is probably going to be one of the most unique seasons we've had in a long time, if not of all time, even just based off of the operators alone. Warden seems to have a level of confidence that we haven't really seen in the game, and Nokk is just something different entirely. She's mysterious, but almost to the point of straight up frightening, and again, based off of what we know, I get a Kavera vibe from this operator. Now, I'm unrealistically excited for this season. I honestly feel like these two operators, as well as the rework to Cafe, I just feel like they're coming at the perfect time. Both Warden and Nokk are so different than what we're used to just aesthetically, and so far from the norm that it'll bring a real fresh breath of air to the current operator pool. Now, yes, there have been some leaks, but none of it is confirmed to be true at this time, so I'm taking the information as it comes, and of course we'll go over everything once we get something a little more concrete for Phantom Sight. What I have seen though, and probably what most of you have seen as well, is looking really good, and the community seems ready. But what are your early impressions of Warden and Nokk? How do you think their gadgets work, and which one are you more looking forward to? Let us know in a comment down below. Next up, I want to talk about Phantom Sight. It's the confirmed operation for Season 2 of Siege, and and I wanted to go over everything we know is coming. So for starters, of course, we're getting both Warden and Nokk. Now, from all of the press images and releases so far with the gray smoke look, it's just something we haven't really experienced yet in Siege. Art director Alex Karpazis tweeted out that, in his opinion, this will be the most stylish season that the team has ever produced, which actually says a lot about the tone of the content. Now, the cat's out of the bag with the cafe rework for most, but for the rest of us, I'm hoping we get a real art makeover here as well. Sometimes it's the little things on the map that make all the difference, like the fact that Outback, Operation Burnt Horizons map, is color-coded to make it a little easier to navigate. Now, beyond that, we are also getting Pick and Ban, which honestly may have come a season too late after all the bugs and exploits with certain operators recently. But there's obviously a lot to say here, so there'll be more content going into far more detail on all the changes being made to ranked coming very soon. But for now, we are getting Pick and Ban and some pretty big changes to the general aesthetics of the playlist, which I'm actually really looking forward to because ranked hasn't really been changed in a long time, and most of what's changing is coming directly from the community. We're also going to be seeing a big change to Glaz next season that will effectively rework his thermal scope and gear him more towards being a long-range operator, which was always his initial design. If you're unaware, Operation Phantom Sight will be fully revealed during the Pro League Finals in Milan on May 19th. So those are all the bullet points for the next operation, and of course there's always more to elaborate on, and we will in due time, so let us continue. Now, I know it's been out for some time now, but I wanted to quickly talk about the Bandit Elite. The reason I wanted to circle back to this uniform is because there's actually an entire backstory to the Axel 13 Elite, and I thought it was really interesting, so let's get into it. So for those of you who aren't aware, Bandit was once an undercover agent who was tasked with gathering intel on a gang that he had to join in order to get close to them. In this image, we learn of the origins of the large scar across the top of his head. Harry says, "You want it to look real? I've got some bad news for you." Here we see Bandit working on the bike in the garage on Clubhouse with a caption that reads, "Remember where you are. You get too comfortable, you're a dead man." As is typical with this kind of job, it's even affected his personal life, as we can clearly see in this image. This caption reads, "We have a word for situations like this. Simply Weltschmerz," which for those of you who don't speak German, nearly directly translates to pain. So yeah, it's always cool to see Ubisoft give us more story and lore with the operators, and with Bandit in particular, his dark past has always been somewhat of a meme to the community. I mean, who am I kidding? It's still a meme within the community, but there's a really telling history there, and it isn't all powder and money. Also, we now have another contender for the best beard in Siege, even though I'm still convinced it's Kaid. But this Elite has been very popular since its release, so if you've been playing with it a lot and curious about its fairly blunt design, hopefully this gives you a little more insight. Finally, there are a boatload of new bundles that have come out recently, so let's dig in. Starting off with the Canyon Fire bundle for Legion and Ying. It unlocks the Scorch mineral cosmetics for these two. Then the Torrid bundle for the British operators. You gain access to the Shamal headgears for Smoke, Mute, Sledge, and Thatcher. Next, we have the Vigil Volunteer bundle, which includes the East United uniform, allied covered headgear, Judge Dog Charm, and augmented alloy weapon skin for his main SMG. And finally, we have Lion and Finka, and they get the Radguard bundle. You get the volatile gray uniforms and headgears if you decide to pick this one up. But that's everything, guys. 5 big updates for Rainbow Six Siege, including Operation Phantom Sight and the 2 new operators, Nokk and Warden. But I want to hear from you. Are you excited for Season 2 of Year 4? And what are your thoughts so far? Let us know everything in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.